For everybody, the two-piece combo is where we bring a little bit of poetry video in. This week it is this episode.
Yamazawa.
Raise Up.
Yes, sir.
The video we're watching is from the Kennedy Center. So if you want to go peep it, it's actually a really good recording and all that. So yeah, we're going to watch it. We're going to give it a little breakdown and then a number at the end.
Let's do that.
Out here in Bess Kepp's little man cave right now.
In high school, I was a hand grenade sitting in a palm-shaped desk ready to blow up in the face of any teacher who thought I wasn't worth holding on to.
Hey, let's go.
Knowing that I was bright, I never let any earthly authority stare at me for too long.
Hey, that's real, like that struggle, like, because Bess, you were an educator for a long time.
Yes.
How long you been teaching?
This is actually my 20th year teaching.
Hey, let's go.
Hey.
Not to tell your age, but yeah, there is that problem with students that we see is like, because I went through it, like when they know they're smart, you know what I'm saying, and they look at the teacher and they're like, nah, fuck you, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they don't want to participate or they're not engaged.
Yeah. And they know they're smart. You know what I'm saying? They feel empowered in some way.
Yes.
But the only way that they know how to use that is, like he says, to just blow up, just waiting to.
I was expelled during my junior year and sent to an alternative school, shaped like a trench, where students were treated like dismantled machine guns. They searched us every morning.
Treated like dismantled machine guns. Yo, that's raw.
Like, shouts out to the continuation school struggle. I was one of the only ones in my social peer group that didn't graduate from continuation school. But to be able to summarize the feeling that you get from that experience, like he does it, like, right? That's what we're doing out here.
The thing I get from this though is almost like he didn't like the continuation school.
Yeah.
Whereas I know a lot of young kids, the continuation school is kind of like their last straw. But sometimes it's very small, it's intimate, it's more personal, there's more engagement between the teacher and the student.
Smaller
and
classrooms.
they usually kind of shoot through it, and those kind of, because not every kid can handle a 2,000 person high school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
word.
500 people is cool.
But there is that sense of like,
all right, let's just go.
like turning your nose at kids that went to continuate. Like, you graduated from where?
Yeah,
that's not a real high school.
Yeah, has that stigma to it.
Yeah, word.
Made us take off our shoes, pat us down from head to toe, but the metal detectors don't beep when students sneak hope into the seams of their clothes. Ooh. There's an average of about 8 kids in every classroom, with everything to learn and nothing to lose but their pride. See, one morning, a classmate was laughing about how his own mother is a crackhead. His voice was careless and unforgiving, but his eyes told me that even addicts can become saints. And at that moment, my conscience began writing this poem, and now my hand is finally starting to remember it for the 16-year-old veterans. I'm sure your hearts are purple, not bruised but brave. The color of royalty rests in the cave of your ribcage, where teachers can only imagine the kind of stories you engrave inside the walls of your chest. It's no wonder why they always try to get under your skin. See if only
like so much of that poetry is therapy, like just snuck in there, and just like your education will heal you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Learning to express these things.
Yeah. This whole 16-year-old veterans, purple hearts, not bruised, but
word. And like, again, like that poetry therapy just in there, like it just works. You can just tell. Like,
it's amazing how, like you pointed out earlier, how it like a lot of modern slam is a lot of just griping. But then how it gripes, but it's along with the narrative and healing.
Word.
And it sounds
word.
beautiful too.
Yeah.
I mean, the aesthetic part of it too, like you said, the words he said, the
It's a
metaphors he
beautiful
used.
voice.
Yes, definitely. So,
and he's certainly not doing what we were describing, because his imagery is strong. Like his wordplay is like, it's not the focus of the poem. This isn't like that wordplay poem, but it's still structuring and holding up the concept.
Heart could learn to love, maybe they would pump less like a shotgun and more like a piston, and give them the drive to be more than a statistic. Because no matter how hard we try to point kids towards better test scores, they'll still be aiming at each other without the right weapons. And we need our students in the classrooms. You see, in high school, I learned to explode into the things that I love. I learned that you can't learn wisdom. They cannot teach you virtue. I learned that graduation is not my parents' responsibility, and that a cap and gown.
And like engaging in that, like, oh my gosh. And this makes me wonder a lot, like, when did G start writing?
Right.
Like, when is this what got you out?
Interesting
Did
question.
you find this in continuation school? Because that's often what you see, right? Like, for the first time, these kids go to continuation school and learning clicks for them, and then they find poetry, or then they find whatever.
What inspired him to first pick up the pen?
Yeah. And like you said, my conscience wrote this then.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's now that
his hand remembers it.
Yeah, word.
And I like the part where you said, my graduation is not my parents' responsibility.
Word, right?
I mean, he's taking ownership for that, so
yeah,
that's one thing we need to get our kids to do.
Yeah, word.
Take ownership of their education.
Is an attitude you wear for the rest of your life. See, at the end of my graduation ceremony, I walked around frantically for like 30 minutes searching for my parents who were lost in a maze of classmates who crossed the finish line without hearing gunshots. By the time we united, families had already taken their graduation pictures and were dispersing towards further celebration. But my parents didn't care about no graduation photo. The hug that my mother gave me meant more than a certificate, more than 10 steps across the stage, more than my GPA or what college I was going to. Her hug was a thank you for working towards something bigger than myself. It was a reminder of the moment I decided to not let my dreams slip away. Her hug was like a stamp on a passport that showed me where I just came from and allowed me to go wherever my heart decides. She held me tight like a hand grenade, and it reminded me of the moment I decided to pull my pin out and show the world the brightness of my flame.
Hey, and he flips the imagery of the hand grenade at the end. Like, it goes from being this symbolism for this pent up frustration and anger and like that feeling. Y'all know, like 16-year-old boy, it's a struggle. It's a struggle to be in the thralls of puberty and have to have somebody tell you what to do. And that's what we get with the hand grenade at first. And then it becomes like this wonderful metaphor and like his mom gripping.
And also when he said,
fire guy.
Pull the pin out and like, as in like his
pen.
pen.
I'm going to pull the pin out.
Yeah, man. So
it.
what'd you think of the poem?
I loved it.
Fire, right?
I loved it. And I love this. I mean, I'm a fan of storytelling.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was storytelling.
My favorite style of spoken word.
Yeah, definitely.
My favorite.
And the imagery so strong through the whole thing. Like he uses very easy but good things like the shotgun pump and the piston. That's a nice little hit.
Yeah.
And it's so easy and clear, but like still strong. Like still, you know what I'm saying?
So
and he's
not
16 years old?
No. He old.
He was just saying like he was 16.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right, so
but he looks young though.
As we do in Pen Click.
Yeah, he's coming up right now. Gee, we see you. Bless you.
We always score each piece that we review out of 10, like I would be at a poetry slam.
So, with decimal points,
Mr. Bess
and your
Kepp,
opinions,
the God, how would you rate G. Yamazawa?
As a poet, as an educator, dog, as everything, as a mighty Bess Kepp?
I give him an 8.9.
8.9, okay.
8.9, all right. I feel that.
So,
I feel that.
So like 8.9, so not in the nines.
No, not in the nines, because I feel like as a scorer, I need someone that blew me away, but that didn't like just blow me away. It was a dope poem. It had everything in it. It had wordplay, it had storytelling, had imagery.
But that's not your third round slam piece poem right there.
When you come slam is a whole different animal to me.
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't look at that as a slam poem.
Nah.
I
think it might have been at some kind of conference or something.
Yeah. So, but I think 8.9.
8.9.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
All right. So if I was to score it, so here's the thing. This was done in 2014.
Okay.
Right. So that was 3 years ago. As we've seen in the past 3 years, we've seen slam poetry go more towards like the punchliney, like these really sharp one-liners. But then also like we were saying, how it goes more about griping to really tear jerk people.
Feels. Boom,
very
boom,
abrasive emotionally.
Yeah.
And his like healing poems like that, where it comes from a moment of a perspective of understanding and healing, like that's rare, unfortunately, in slam, but understandably so, because in slam, like it's a different animal.
You get those hits. Yes.
With all that said, because of how different it is, off of that, it's like, I'd give that. No, I'm giving that a 10.
A 10.
I'm giving that a 10.
All right.
Because
I respect that.
It's wordplay as fuck, which is what I love, and then also how it's different. compared to the current era of slam. But if that's not a round 3, if it was a round 1, that
No.
makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
My only thing is with a lot of a lot of slam poetry and the youth poetry right now is like they all come almost from the even though it was a unique poem.
Yeah.
I mean the cadence and the flow is always the same to me.
Right.
And I'm looking for someone that can just come in there and just like give me some different,
His flow though. G's flow.
Yeah, but it was still
dope.
like that
inflections and the dips.
Just I mean, it was that, when I look at a poem now, I mean, that also too, you got to realize now I hosted a venue for 19
Best seen it all.
years.
Best seen it all.
So I see so many poets every single week. So I'm probably I'll probably look at it with a different eye a little bit because I see so many poets. I've always been into like wordplay. That's why even when I rate an MC, I always rate them on their performance. On their stage performance. Anyone can go in the car, go into a studio and record, but I mean, how's your stage performance? Yeah, how do you engage the crowd? And change some stuff up. Be an artist. So
it's dope.
And even with my poems, like when I try to feature certain spots, I try to change it up a little bit and I'll throw some poems together, take some stuff off. Just try to change it up.
It's definitely like something that upcoming poets need to definitely cultivate because. It's like when you're creating a character in a video game. You can't just dump all your creative points in like writing. You also have to have stage presence and performance and aggression and like emotional literacy and all that.
Yeah.
So,
I agree with that.
So, Mr. Daniel.
I'm right there with y'all. If this was like a round 1 piece, I'm probably gonna give it that 10 to push it.
Let's go.
Yeah, like this round 1, I want to see something more. If this is a round 2 or 3 piece, I'm assuming I've already heard this. You know what I'm saying? Like this was the round 1 piece, and I'm gonna be a little upset. If this was like a 3rd round, I'm giving you an 8, dog. Like an 8. Like really, bro? Like that wasn't the one, and like this isn't what I want to hear.
Yeah, because you really want that like high peak.
Yeah. Or that like message, like super message, like I'm on this thing. Because this was cool, but it was a little like wavy in here and there, and like the imagery really was what carried it for me.
It's a soothing listen.
Yeah.
But in slam, you're not looking for soothing.
And 8.9, I would give it the 3rd round too as well. So
8.9
for me. That would be the 3rd round. So that's what I was thinking about when I said that.
Sure.
But
and like the grenade imagery, as strong as it was and as much as I liked it, like it was kind of just like bookends.
Okay.
There was not a lot more going on.
Didn't
cohesively. There was a lot of good wordplay and a lot of good imagery and like a lot of good things that happening, but it wasn't all like one linear thing as much as I would have liked it to.
Or completely
for sake of story, and I understand that. The story's strong. It gets us through the story.
It wasn't a completely threaded metaphor.
Yeah, because we're going from like this one point in the story, and the story's linear, but the work doesn't seem to tie into it. So yeah, I'm gonna say an 8.5.
Sure.
Like,
all right, so that was the first piece of the 2-piece combo.
Hey,
y'all watch the Pin Click on YouTube, so y'all know what to do.
like, comment, subscribe, share, rise, survive.
Thank y'all.
Love y'all.